First-person games are always a hit or miss for me, especially the free ones. Sometimes you get incredible free FPS games that you and your friends can get hundreds of hours out of. And sometimes these games just pop up for a week or two and then the player base completely dies down. So this list in particular was a little on the tougher side to make because I really wanted to showcase lots of games that you may have never heard of but could have lower player counts, and also feature titles that are just flat out amazing FPS games but are more on the popular side of things. So I did a bit of both and compiled a variety of FPS games. So here are the top 10 best free first-person shooter games that you can get right now on Steam. Okay, and starting out this list we have Project Hardline. It's a first-person shooter that follows kind of a search and destroy type of gameplay. The gunplay is actually really solid, and I had a lot of fun playing it. I do have to mention, though, that I wasn't able to find any servers online, so I ended up getting on with Chug, and we played a 1v1. And I gotta say, it was a lot of fun. It's kind of jank at times, and the movement doesn't always feel the best, but it's genuinely a fun little game. Currently, it only has 4 maps, and you need to start out making your own lobbies and having your friends join you, but I would love to see this game get a bit more traction and start to have a following. Really recommend checking out Project Hardline. Metalborn is an interesting option on this list, but I wanted to feature it because it's kind of nostalgic. Basically, the game is trying to be like the OG Doom games or something like the Serious Sam games, if you ever played those. It kind of feels like I stepped back in time to when I used to download those random free games on PlayStation 3. It's kind of got that older graphics and gameplay styles to it. You also have to get over the cringe one-liners from the characters. I don't know. In a way, it's got a charm to it. Like, it doesn't really care if it's cringe or weird. It's also super fast-paced and basically just a single-player wave game. The game's soundtrack is actually really good, though. My only issue is the performance. It kind of runs bad, and I have a pretty capable computer. So it's going to be a toss-up on whether this will run for you or not. Either way, I think it's worth trying out. Sector's Edge is a game that's been out for about 6 years at this point, but really started picking up a few years ago. It's one of the more polished and fast-paced FPS games on this list. The game is just solid. Virtually everything on the map is destructible, and you can create structures and mine through things. Not only that, but the gameplay is really good too. There are tons of weapons to choose from and a variety of maps and game modes. It's a pretty versatile FPS game, but unfortunately though, the servers for the game are going to be going offline near the end of 2023, so it received one last huge update, but if you're watching this video after the servers went offline, or even before the servers went offline, the game can still be played offline with bots. Honestly, the offline bot gameplay is still really fun. The game is super fun, the gameplay is really, really good, and it's just an overall good FPS game to have in your library. World Boss is severely underrated in my opinion. This game just came out as of this video releasing, and it's a lot of fun. The game reminds me a lot of Fortnite in the way they present things. Like, the menu is basically ripped straight from Fortnite, but the gameplay and the general theme of the game are different. The game is a 14-person free-for-all where you need to kill your way to the top of the leaderboards. If you keep your spot at the top of the leaderboards by a certain time in the round, you end up becoming the world boss, and the whole server will end up trying to kill you. It's a really cool concept, and I actually love the gameplay here. The guns feel really good, they feel decently balanced too, and you get to slide around and use your jetpack. It's just an all-around good FPS game, so honestly, write this one down because this would be an excellent choice if you're looking for something to play with friends or even alone in quick play. So I'm not a huge chess person, so FPS chess is exactly what I needed to get into it. Okay, but if you're actually someone who likes real chess, this really isn't chess. It's kind of a meme game, but really it's fun if you want something to hop on and 1v1 your friends. Don't hate me, but I prefer this 100 times over real chess. I guess I'm just not sophisticated enough. Basically, this is chess, but whenever someone tries to take the other person's chess piece, you go into a first-person mode and fight it out. Whoever dies loses their chess piece, and the winner keeps their chess piece. It's cool though because the pieces have abilities that match their type. So if you're a horse and you take on a queen, you'll have to beat the queen with all of her abilities, and you have your own set of abilities. I don't know. I really like it, and it makes chess fun for me. I know it's not pure chess, but I actually really enjoy this game, and I think it would be a valuable free game to add to your Steam library. Paint Warfare is insane. The footage you're seeing right now is not sped up, I promise. It's not sped up at all, and it's actually this fast-paced. It's probably the fastest paced FPS game I've ever played. It's just absolute chaos, and yet you can also get really good at the game and just be absolutely cracked. The movement is a huge part of the game. You have a double jump, a dash, and a grappling hook, so you can just go crazy. It's super smooth and a lot of fun. There are tons of different maps and game modes you can play. I also never had trouble finding lobbies, so there are still a lot of people playing it. It's actually really fun, especially if you like fast-paced movement gameplay. Highly recommend giving this one a try. Polygon is a game we covered a few years ago actually, and we stuck with playing it for a good while. So I only recently revisited the game, and it's just as good as I remember, if not better. It's basically Battlefield in Polygon form. It's got really good gunplay and movement, and a decent amount of maps. I also had no trouble finding a lobby to join. There are usually a good number of people playing it. I mean, not much to say about it. It's literally a free Battlefield that is just reskinned. You may not get the crazy explosions and set pieces you get in Battlefield, but everything else is pretty much there. The value is insane with this one, and I can easily see someone dumping more than 100 hours into the game. Definitely something to check out. SCP's Secret Lab is a game that is very special to me. I remember so many good moments from this game, just staying up playing with friends or even just interacting with people in the community. It's hands down the best SCP game out there at the moment, in my opinion. If you don't know what this game is or what it's about, that's a pretty lengthy explanation, but I guess to summarize it, it's a horror multiplayer FPS game where there are multiple classes to play and a pretty decent sized learning curve. We actually have a guide on our channel for how to play this game in 5 minutes or less, so I recommend checking that out. I don't think people know of this game enough, and it deserves all the love it's gotten so far and so much more. It's scary, hilarious sometimes, and just an all-around good time. I bet 99% of you know what Counter-Strike 2 is, but I just had to add it to the list. Maybe you're like me, and CS wasn't really your thing, but I will say that Counter-Strike 2 is loads better in my opinion. I couldn't ever really get into the first Counter-Strike game before, but the second game just looks and feels better in general. It basically plays the same way, but something about it being the second game got me really excited for it. It's definitely very competitive, so it's going to cater to those people. You can obviously see how bad I am in the footage right now too. I feel like I don't need to explain what Counter-Strike is, but as I said, if you haven't tried it out yet and maybe you've been a bit hesitant, it really is worth the hype, and I think it'll bring a lot of new players. Treason. This game just had to be on the list, and I'm happy I'm ending the list with this one. We found this gem randomly a few months ago and streamed it one night, and it was just so much fun. I was not expecting to have as much fun in this game as I did and do. Treason is basically Trouble in Terrorist Town from Gmod, or Among Us with guns, I guess is another way to describe it. The whole thing is packed nicely in a 1930s-ish theme, so you got your Tommy guns and everyone is dressed in suits. It's just it's such a fun game. It has a lot more features and additions to your base TTT gameplay too, so if you're going in expecting a vanilla version of TTT, it's not that. The gameplay is super solid, and I never had trouble finding people online. Oh, and they recently just came out with their biggest update yet, which is super exciting. It means the game is still being played and still being worked on. I think the best part about Treason is the community though. It's so funny, and you'll find yourself in these lobbies where everyone will progressively just get more and more into character. So by the end, everyone is full on Mafia mode, and it's just an experience you can't get anywhere else. This one is a must try for sure. I'm just going to throw this bonus game in the list because at the time of this recording, the finals hasn't been fully released quite yet, but take my word for it, this game is amazing. And it's totally free, which is crazy to me considering the polish the game has. Just from the beta and the alpha releases I've played so far, this game is probably my favorite FPS game of the past few years at least. It just gets so many things right. So if you're watching this and it's already been released, check it out. And if you're watching this and it hasn't been released yet, I would definitely recommend wishlisting this game and playing it once it goes live. All right, well, that's going to be it for this video. If we missed any games or you have some free FPS games that you'd like to share, please put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.